Laughing Vikings Live. High vibe chats with actors, comedians, and creators, plus stand-up comedy, sketch comedy, and most importantly, you. That's right, join us every Monday for new episodes, and you can be a part of the show on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitch. Ask questions and interact in the comments, and make sure to share this with your actor, comedian, and creator friends so they can be a part of the show too. Can't make a live show? No problem. You can catch up on your favorite podcast platform and visit laughingvikings.com to find out how you can join the cast and crew. All right, it's time for today's show. Buckle up and make sure you stick around to the end because we have a special surprise for you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Laughing Vikings Live. Happy Monday Fun Day. Let's go. Well, here we are yet again. So many Mondays in a row. I'm Lars. This is Luna. We got BK Broiler in the back. What's up, BK?
Oh, not much, Lars. It has been a good weekend. How was yours?
It was fantastic. I went up to my dad's. Oh, we did a show on Friday. First, we did a show. Like, we squeaked one in there right before the restrictions came in for a corporate murder mystery dinner theater show, which was great. It was fantastic. Small crowd, spaced out, distancing, mask, all the things that you could do. But it was nice to do that. And then my dad lives near Barrie. And so I went and just chilled out in a winter wonderland and ate too much cheese, too much chocolate, and I played a bunch of cribbage. That's what I've been up to.
Nice.
I've been eating cheese, eating chocolate, and playing cribbage.
Are you as good at cribbage as you are at axe throwing?
Man, I don't say this to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty good at everything. I feel like I'm always 80 percentile. Like I could compete in a tournament, but maybe not win it in almost everything. And the answer is yes. Yeah, my dad's really good too. Brandon's talking about axes. We got a new axe game here. I'm going to show you.
Yeah, we got a new axe game.
Yeah. Look at this.
There we go. There it is. There's the target.
Watch. Oh, nailed it. Nailed it.
Well done, Lars. Well done.
Viewers at home, can I share this story? So I got this thing. I got it at Winners. Shout out to Winners. And as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, we need that for the studio. Like 100% need this for the studio. It's Velcro, comes with 2 axes. So when we get that, I think I got it on Thursday. I brought it here. Yeah. Brandon and I put it out in Comedy Alley and we started to play. And at one point, I hit 5 bullseyes in a row. 5. Count how many bullseyes? 5 eyes of bulls in a row. Simultaneously, Brandon missed the board or it bounced off. So he got 5 zeros in a row. It was pretty epic. It was amazing. I can tell by looking at you right now. You have post-traumatic stress disorder from
No, I'm fine. I'm fine with it. It's great.
At one point when I was crushing him on Thursday, but we were having a great time. But I'm not saying this to gloat, but factually, like if you just mathematically described what was happening, I was crushing him in numbers. Like if you looked at my
numbers, you were to theoretically talk about the definition of rubbing it in.
No, I wasn't doing that. All I was doing at the time, I was just strictly stating facts. I was just saying, wow, 5 bullseyes to 5 zeros in a row. But you have beat me since then. So all this to say that we had an epic game. And then at one point, I feel like it was the best chirp of the game for me. It's all good-hearted and kind-hearted, but it's fun. It's communication competition, right? It's part of a good scene in acting. Like if we were just playing and solely cheering each other on, like that's also nice, but it's not as fun for the viewers. There was no viewers. This was just us at the time. But practice like you play. So at one point I looked over at him. I think I had just defeated him handily in a game. And I said, Brandon, you know that quote, how they say you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with? And he said, yes. Yes, of course. And I said, I think you're spending too much time with the Maple Leafs. Boom. And he looked at me and his shoulders sagged and I could see his heart droop a little bit. And he was just like, I saw you acknowledge the defeat and the disheartening of it, but also acknowledge the truth of it, which is why it hurt. The truth hurts.
It does.
Yeah, I feel bad for you being a Leafs fan. Like I see you rise and fall on them, and they just continually disappoint you.
Well, I mean, there's not much to disappoint right now because the season's suspended. But
right. But let's not talk about that, huh?
Let's not talk about that. Yeah, let's ignore that completely.
All right. So what we're saying there is look for. Before the podcast tonight, I was saying to Brandon, I think if we just played this Axe game on a live stream, it would be like one of our most successful episodes ever. It's really fun.
So if you guys would like to see us play this Axe game at the beginning of next episode, episode 65, then put down in the comments that you want to see axe throwing, maybe even hashtag axe throw, and we'll start the next episode playing axes.
By the way, they're Velcro as well.
Yeah.
I think we should, axes for fun, or maybe we decide things by this, I think when actors come to the studio, we can have a running score. Okay, here we go. And boom, bullseye. Nailed it. You don't even have to look at the board. You just got to trust me. That was 100%.
I'm not going to even leave. I don't care.
Sure, all right. Also, I think we should acknowledge that this is the shortest day of the year right now.
Oh, is
tonight
it?
And tomorrow, yeah. Winter solstice. So This is as cold and as deep and as dark as it gets. After this, it's all smooth sailing. We're right back to summer, hopefully. Yes. But before that, Christmas and happy holidays. Adam Daniel Mazet says, broiler, what do you call a fake axe?
What do you call a fake axe, Adam?
I should be playing right now. This is for the view here. While we're waiting for the answer.
While we're waiting,
While we're waiting for the answer, I'm going to throw this Velcro axe and another bullseye. Boom! I'm so good at this. A fax. Nice.
What do you call a fake axe? A fax.
A fax. Nice.
There you go.
There you go. We got Luna here in the house too. Again, people who only listen to this podcast, I mean, it's your fault. You need to somehow tune in and watch the videos. You're missing Luna, our studio pug here, the Wonder Pug, the Christmas pug. Give me a pug hug. You're missing the fake axe, the fax board here, the fax game. Mm-hmm. So many things, so many visuals. You're also missing our t-shirts. We got swag. We didn't even talk about this today. We weren't like, make sure. I didn't wag my finger and say, make sure you wear your Laughing Vikings shirt. And we wore it.
It's not true. Lars sends many threatening texts all the time.
Right, written in blood on old sheepskin. Like it's not even paper. It's old. It's old papyrus. Like how old is Lars? Yeah, an old papyrus scroll in blood. Make sure you wear your Laughing Vikings t-shirt on the podcast today. Like, why isn't he just DMing me this? Why
does he need to? I feel like this costs more.
A couple times I etched it in stone. I went out and it takes a lot. I went out and find stone, then I found the etching tool, and then I took the time to etch it. Do make sure you wear tap tap tap. Make sure you wear your t-shirt. Tap 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 on the podcast today. Tap 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 tap. Man, it's because I run a tight ship clearly around here. You know, when we're not playing fake axes. What else do we want to talk about? This is a lot of nonsense rigmarole and off the top here. But
before we bring on our guest, we should talk about the things that we're doing here at Laughing Vikings. Boom. So if you would like to check out more of what we're doing over here, if you would like to check out a sketch show or a stand-up or a comedy show, please check out laughingvikings.com/links for tickets and more info on that. If you would also like to check out a free workshop with Tom Todoroff, who we both work with. I do the Saturday workshop with Tom, and Lars is currently in the conservatory. Check out laughingvikings.com/actors to get your free workshop today.
Nailed it. I like that upward inflection at the end of that too. Right. Just drove through the thought right there. And holidays. I'm wearing my holiday hat here because this is December 20th. Shortest day of the year. It's going to get cold and dark tonight. But then from the rest of the time, then it's just going to get warmer and brighter. We're on the worst is behind us.
We're on the way up now.
But for the holidays, we're running a holiday gift certificate special. It's also at laughingvikings.com/links, where you'll get 5 self-tape sessions for the low price of 4. That's a membership only special that we got going on. We're going to keep it open till Christmas Eve so that you can buy self-tape sessions for you or your loved ones, the actors in your life. If you're somehow listening to this and you're not an actor and you're not a performer and you have no involvement in TV and film, but you know a bunch of people who do, you can grab some for them, and it makes a great stocking stuffer. You can print out the email or just put your phone in their stocking, open to your email, and then when they're like, oh, you got me an iPhone, you can say, no, look at the email. I got you 5 audition sessions at Laughing Vikings as part of their Actors Audition Club. And if you're listening right now and somehow you don't know about this, what do? We help actors rehearse and record professional auditions via Zoom, via in studio, so that you don't have to worry about tech troubles and you don't have to bug your family and friends, so that ultimately you can just focus on your acting, you can have more fun, and you can book more roles in TV, film, and theater. And you can also see Luna.
Yeah. Take this opportunity now to meet Luna. Right. She's wonderful. She's also runs our security and is the producer of this show.
Yes.
We appreciate Luna. She's not making me say this whatsoever.
She's very stoic. Luna. To be honest with you, she doesn't podcast that much. So she gets all tongue-tied.
Yeah.
Luna, you don't want to talk to these people? Come on. Here, a quick pug close-up for everyone at home, just for the screenshot. Right. There we go. Hey. Oh, nice little tap here. There you go. Right, Luna? What do you got to say? She says, bark, bark, go to laughingvikings.com, bark, bark.
Join our membership, bark, bark.
Yes. All right. Should we get to it?
I think we should.
This is episode 64. If this was a Nintendo, this would be one of the best Nintendos out there, Nintendo 64. It was evolutionary.
From longest 8-bit lasting game system.
From 8-bit to 16 to 32 to 64 bits. I feel like video games now are like 1,000 times more powerful than that. So this may be the episode that is 1,000 times more powerful than any of the other episodes. Today, we have a special guest. She is a Second City Conservatory grad. She's been a part of the show on Netflix, Lunatics. And she's also, we are very blessed to have her and fortunate to have her and grateful to have her as a session director in Actors Audition Club. So especially when you book a Zoom session, you may be meeting with, ladies and gentlemen, drum roll, Luna drum roll, pug drum roll. Please welcome to the virtual studio, Emanuele. Amy Emanuele.
Oh, Luna. Oh, that's my girl.
Welcome. There she is.
Thank you for having me. I'm absolutely excited.
I feel like while we were doing this, you're like, oh my God, how long are these guys going to talk about fake axes? But then as long as Luna was there, I know that like Luna, she was holding down a lot of that first 12 minutes of the episode. and all she had to do was nothing. So welcome. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm so excited. I'm so pumped. Yeah.
Hey.
Full disclosure, we've been hounding Amy to come on and do an episode. And her schedule is always too busy for us because she's very, very busy in the industry. And we're going to talk about a lot of those things today. Talk about how you got started, talk about what you're up to these days, talk about your involvement here as part of the team at Laughing Vikings, and just have a grand old time. And Luna's going to stay. Luna, she might have a rum and eggnog with us later.
Oh, good.
A virtual rum and eggnog.
I was worried. I was like, we need to get one for Luna later.
Right. So, Amy, I'm sure you've watched every or listened to every one of these episodes. Like every good guest on the show does always. And if you had, which I know you have, you would know that our first segment is called 1 Minute Life Story, where you, Amy Emanuele, have the opportunity to give us your life story in 1 minute. Brandon's going to throw some time on the clock. Don't think about it. You just came from Second City's conservatory program. She's a master at improv. Amy Emanuele's life story in 1 minute, starting now.
All right. Well, it was a cold winter's day in 1996, and I'm just kidding. Well, basically, my life story. I've always been a performer. I didn't shut up in the car as a kid. I would always be being silly and singing, and then I just continued that all throughout high school, and then I ended up moving to Australia to study the business side of the entertainment industry, and was like, you know what? Why don't I try being in these films and shows that I love so much? So I got started just with classes and loved comedy so much that when I came back to Toronto, I decided to start Second City's improv program, and then completed that last year, and then got into their conservatory program right after. And I just completed that this month, actually. And I love writing and improvising and working with fellow actors and creating really fun, weird, silly content. That's my story. Did it. A minute. Look at that.
Oh.
Ding, 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 ding.
Nice.
That is correct. 10,001 points for Amy Emanuele.
I got the right answer.
Yeah.
10,000 points. That's nice.
Yes. Believe you me, Brandon and I, we've done our research. So if you would have been off with anything, we would have fact checked you and called you out on it. Yeah.
Good. Someone keep me humble, please.
Yeah.
Keep me a check.
It wasn't a cold winter's night. It was a balmy winter's night.
Well, if we're going by
96.
your weather report, Lars, it's today's cold and dark, but after
Right.
this, it's all summer. So.
True. Yeah, that's I'm gonna tell you, that's gonna make a great Instagram clip right there. You nailed that one.
Good Instagram story.
nailed
Good.
it. Quick follow-up question. When did you go to Australia?
I went in 2016 for university.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out if you had been to Australia before we met you here at Laughing Vikings, or if that was something that you did like just pre-COVID and you were riding COVID out in Australia.
I mean, look, that would have been a great place to spend COVID. It is probably the most relaxing place on earth, but no, this was all pre-COVID. Yeah, I did my degree there and then was like, you know, Amy, you should probably go back to Toronto. It's time.
And here she is.
How did you hear about the program in Australia?
Well, I actually was studying at McGill in Montreal in linguistics for a year, and I was like, you know what? This isn't my vibe. So sorry to leave all you. Gonna go somewhere else. And I knew Ryerson had a creative industries program, but then I saw on their website, hey, we have a sister program in Australia. And I was like, Toronto, Australia. So I luckily got the opportunity to go study there for almost 3 years. Yeah.
Nice.
It was amazing.
Did anything try to kill you while you were there?
Aside from the alcohol,
Yeah.
no, I'm joking, Mom and Dad. No,
He's not joking.
Yeah, she's not joking. No, nothing tried to kill me, luckily. Although I did spend a couple days in the outback at my friend's place. They live completely off the grid. They're building their own house compound from the ground up themselves. And they didn't tell me because they knew I wouldn't come that there was no washrooms. So
Ooh. Like, so was it outhouses or was it just like go in a bush, find a bush?
The bush life.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
Just as the animals do.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So how was that experience?
The washroom or the outback or Australia? Which
Well, being in the outback and not having the usual facilities.
Ooh, shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really shocking. And we ran over a huge snake at one point in the car, and it was tons of new experiences, but her family is so relaxed and so chill about it. I mean, they're used to it, so I probably looked like the odd one out there. I know I did. But it was fun.
And you're a deadly reptile expert, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
Part
Oh
of your
yeah.
training?
Latin names and everything. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
definitely. So actually, when you think about it, good thing I was there.
Yeah.
I teach them
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Fun fact. I don't know if you know this, Amy, and I'm not sure if you know this, Brandon. I have been stung by a stingray and bit by a boa constrictor. 2 separate things and 2 separate occasions. I'm fine. I survived. But,
Did you? That's good to know.
Yeah. That is my survival story. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Mhm.
That's so
Yeah. First time I ever went surfing in LA. I went out, and before I even got up, I I didn't even know what happened. It hurt so bad, and I never felt pain like that before. But apparently I stepped on a stingray and it stung the bottom of my foot. And then the boa constrictor was, I was working a summer of kids shows at Reptilia Reptile Zoo up in Vaughan by Canada's Wonderland. And it was like a 30-minute one-man show where I would show a turtle, and then I would show a lizard, and then the grand finale was a big snake. And one day I was sort of using like a nice colorful but slightly smaller snake for my demos. And one day I was like, no, these kids, they want to see a big snake at the end. Like, you don't come to see a little snake, you want to be. So I went to get a big one, and they keep them, the show snakes, they keep them in a wall. And they sort of like these big Tupperware drawers kind of thing. And they have whatever they're like, maybe they're in hay or however it works. And so I had to like reach in and grab it. And I daintily, the thing with boa constrictors, this is a boa constrictor tip, and any large snake, they're not going to eat you. Like if you're a large man or woman, they don't see you as food because you're kind of too big. They see you more like a tree. But I sort of like dangled a pinky as I was going, and I was like I was kind of afraid, and I reached in, and a boa constrictor leapt out of the drawer that it was in. I screamed. I was the only one in the room, and I was like, "Oh, fuck!" And then it kind of like bit me, and then it let go, and then I grabbed a smaller snake, and then went out and did a show 30 seconds after I was terrified by a real live huge boa constrictor. And that's the boa story. Yeah.
Can never be blasé with the boa, bro.
Man. Yeah. So what you really got to do is you really got to be firm with it. You, like, if I had to put like an elbow, or you grab like a stick or something, or like a ruler or anything, even a book. You could take like a book, and you kind of put the book between the head and the rest of you, so that if it doesn't really, like, for some reason it doesn't strike you block the head.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Okay, let me write that down.
Yes.
Oh yeah, please send that to me, Amy.
Yeah.
Every week we talk about at least one way to thwart a deadly animal attack on
this is an educational program.
Starting today.
Yeah, that's okay.
Next week we'll talk more about I'll tell you right now. Stingrays, if you're ever stung by a stingray, you want to get as hot a liquid on the wound as possible. And the hot liquid, like water, I in my case, I had to put my foot in a bathtub. It denatures the venomous protein. There's proteins in the venom that are excruciating to the human body when you're stung by a stingray. But as soon as they heat up, they change biochemically, and then they no longer hurt. So if you're stung by a stingray, like in a foot, then just put your foot in a bucket of hot water, essentially, and you'll be pretty good after like 5 minutes. But I was in traffic for 45 minutes in LA when this happened, being transported back to my hotel, because where we were, there was no, like, we didn't have a kettle with us or a bathtub. So I was screaming and wincing, and the pain goes like this. It goes away where you're like, oh, my foot's fine. I don't feel it at all. And then 5 minutes later, it comes back like even more intense. And it just repeats that, where it like, oh, okay, yeah, I feel pretty good. I think, let's go surf again, to, oh, fuck, my God, fuck. Like, and it just does that until you stick it in hot water, and then you're fine.
Good.
There you go.
It's really good to know.
Yeah,
I was listening so seriously.
Right?
I was like, wait, this is really important, because these are the times when you don't really like absorb this information. I'll be like, oh, I knew Lars was telling me. Why didn't I write it down?
Right. Yeah. A lot of people aren't finding trusted sources for their public health information right now during these strange and uncertain times. So we want to be a beacon of health and safety information, so that, I mean, really, what is there to worry about more than being stung by a stingray or being bit by a boa constrictor right now?
Oh, this is so great.
Name one thing.
name one single thing going on in the world right now more important than
this is great. I was really worried we were just like a bunch of actors, but
no.
We know so much.
We don't just talk about acting here. We go deep. We go deep dive.
Yeah, with the facts.
All the life experiences.
Experiences, so good.
Yeah. Lessons.
So now that we've gotten over the educational part of the show, let's get into the more traditional. We like to hear your like origin story, like your superhero, super actor, super performer origin story, starting with, what was your first ever performance that you can remember as a child or whenever it happened?
I think my first one was like a dance recital or something, but I know the one that had the most impact on me was in grade 4. We did we did like Shakespeare play for some reason. We were studying Shakespeare in grade 4. I don't know why, but we did a revised, slightly easier version of Much Ado About Nothing. And I had never really acted up until this point. I don't think I did it all. I just did a lot of dance. And then I remember when I got to play Beatrice, I was over the moon. I was like, I've made it. This is it. This is it. And I just felt so empowered being able to recite this dialogue. And I had so much fun with just the blocking on stage and the costumes and getting to work with, the drama teachers and everything about how to make it better. It was just such a new and exciting experience for me that's the most memorable for me, for sure.
No wonder you're so incredible. You started with Shakespeare. Most people start with like some nursery rhyme thing, or maybe they play a goat in the nativity scene at Christmas, And you were like, yeah, I'll take a lead into Shakespeare as a grade 4 kid. Okay. Nice.
Hey, I played a goat for my first performance.
Well, I mean, that's why they call you the goat, right?
Oh, well, for putting it like that.
That's incredible, though. That's such a cool experience. Kudos to that was at your school. So that was like your drama teacher?
It was just our grade. Like that year, grade 4 would put on a play, and ours happened to be, I guess, Shakespeare. It was phenomenal.
Wow.
Yeah. I've been really lucky to be supported for artistic experiences a lot. And that's thanks to, my family for encouraging me to just try a bunch of stuff and follow what I love best. Yeah.
So do you remember those first shows? Anything stand out? Like how you felt specifically?
Okay. I do remember I was a very type A, overachiever. I don't know if you guys know about me, but
Who you, Amy, Emanuele? Yeah, no,
yeah.
100%.
So I was always worried of okay, are we all doing what we're supposed to be doing? Okay, are we all in our places? I was that kid. I wouldn't really say anything, but I would be just double checking. Okay, we're all here before the scene starts. Everyone's good. So I think I didn't even know if I registered the audience. I think I was more so excited about the
like, Jimmy, get over here, Jimmy. Yeah, you're saying, hey, it's your turn. Hey, come on, get over here. That's
go.
Great. So you were actor director right out of the gate. Right?
Yeah. Or silent director, silent.
The sports version of that is the player captain or the player manager, where they're on the field. Like back in the day in baseball, the catchers often were also the managers, so they would be making all the decisions, but also playing. Yeah.
Oh man.
Fun
Sports.
baseball.
Sports. Wow.
That's incredible. I'm so impressed that your first. Have you done? Did you continue to do Shakespeare? Have you done much since then, or was that your intro to it, and then you started to do other things?
Yeah, that was my intro to it, and then I've never done it since. Which is actually funny because it's. I think Lars, we were talking about Shakespeare when I came by the studio a couple months ago, and how you were studying it, and it's actually. I've been thinking about it recently, you know what, I got to go back to that because, that text, if you can master that text and feel confident performing that text, then you're good to go.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. It's so fun too. And just sinking your teeth into those words. When you're reading it and saying them and hearing other people, it just sounds so epic. And it's also when done well, it's also super impactful too, where you're like, holy shit. This guy, that guy knew how to write. Right? Oh, man.
He's a pretty good writer.
We've talked about this. I can't think of anything in any other category of life where there's just one person that's they're the guy or they were the woman, and there's no one else there's not even really a peer that you can think of especially from a long time ago, that they have that many things that are still put up and still read and still it's crazy.
And like created the basis of so many of our stories today, which is really wild.
Although he stole a lot of that stuff from other things too.
Yeah.
It's not like they were all brand new stories, but they were certainly universals. Put tons of universals. As we were playing axes earlier, there was a round where we had to say Shakespeare lines as we were throwing the axe earlier. And one time I didn't say anything, and Brandon was like, "Hey, you didn't say anything." And I said, sometimes the pause is the importance, or the thought. Shakespeare's a lot about just thinking. So that was just my moment where I earned the pause, and I just thought to be or not to be.
I'm really glad that like you were thinking that.
Yeah,
that must have been really effective.
Don't give him that. Don't give him that.
I hit a bullseye, didn't I? I'm pretty sure I hit a bullseye.
You did hit a bullseye, but it shouldn't count because the whole point was doing the Shakespeare lines before the throw.
Brandon, I'm picking up on some, like, I don't know, frustration. Is everything okay?
He's a Leafs fan. He's a Leafs fan.
I'm constantly stressed every second of every day.
Right.
Deep breaths.
So Shakespeare, you said Much Ado About Nothing was your first performance. Yeah. Fast forward to whenever it happened. Do you remember your first paid gig where this was like, oh, I'm a professional, someone just gave me money for this?
Oh man. Yes, I think the first paid gig where it wasn't like, just you're just there, not really acting, like a commercial or something, right? My first one that I remember being like freaked out about was for Lunatics on Netflix, and that was mainly because I got to see what these full productions were actually like what the environment was like. I mean, I was there for 2 days, and I was with a group of other girls. We were like the nerdy girls, and we just didn't know what was happening the whole time, in a good way. Like there was just so much going on, and they would, herd you over here, herd you over there, and then the next thing you know, you're like, okay, like you're on now, and you're like, okay, and then Chris slowly comes in, and you get to improvise with them, which was a really cool experience because I hadn't done improv at this point. So it was just like, okay, let's go. So it felt very rewarding at that point to be like, okay, maybe I can do this. Someone thought I was good enough or the right fit to be here. So let's keep pushing that forward and see what happens.
Nice.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Nice. Lunatics. Lunatics.
Lunat.
Oh yeah, Lunatics. See, so many synchronicities. So many synchronicities. Did you book that before or after you met Luna? Maybe Luna needs to take 10% of that gig.
Look, it was before, but I can't argue with the boss. Like if she wants 10%, I give her 10%. It's fine.
Good answer. Good answer. Did you guys see how she just yes-anded that just with flawless perfection? Wow. She's been practicing.
I think it's ingrained in me at this point in a good way.
It is a good life skill too. Generally, yeah. I need to do it more in regular life. Sometimes
you just say no to everything. You're just like, nope.
Nope. Terrible idea.
Yeah.
Nope. Let's not go there.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to play a fun game of Velcro axes? No.
Nope. No, I don't. No.
Nope.
Pass on that one.
One of my favorite things of all time ever is the Office scene where where they're doing improv classes, and Michael is playing improv, but his go-to thing is he just always pulls a gun and threatens the free. Like it's hilarious.
Freeze! This is Michael Scarn.
And when he whispers into the one guy's ear, and the guy just goes, his hands up.
Yeah. Did he just whisper that he had a gun too? Yes.
And when he unloads the guns, he's like taking them out of his pocket, and the teacher's like, all of them. He's like, this is a dangerous topic. I could talk about The Office all day.
So good.
Okay? Just
so good. Yes.
So good.
All right. So we did talk about your first performance. Also talked about your first paid gig. What else would we want to learn here, Brandon?
So, Amy, what is Girl Power, and how did you come to manage this group?
Interesting question. I technically don't manage the group. I manage the artist development program for them. So they are an amazing group of performers, youth performers who we train in singing and dancing, and then they perform virtually, and they also perform live. I'm just so grateful to help guide these young performers and support them as they develop strong skills and confidence in their skills and in themselves. I just got very, very grateful for this opportunity. It's a blast.
So you said you worked for the program. How did you come to work with that program?
I completed an internship during COVID because I was bored out of my mind. So I did an internship with them just to learn more about, at that time I was helping to produce their online concert series. And then, after the internship wrapped up, luckily they reached out to me and offered me this position. And it's been such a dream. It's amazing.
How did you hear about the position?
Indeed.
Wow, indeed.
I
was like, at first I was like, that's a weird answer. Why didn't you just say Indeed? And then I'm like, oh, Indeed, the website.
Yeah, I wasn't really active in that space in music. I was active in it in Australia for a bit because I studied it. But in Toronto, I had no experience with it. So I was just looking for anything I could get my hands on that would be interesting and fun to learn. And this opportunity came along, thankfully.
Can you explain the group? It's sort of like a legacy group where people sort of have a little time with it and then they move on, or they stay as long as they can. And then is it also touring too? They go around to schools and things?
Yeah, they do. They don't do, I don't know if they do schools. I don't handle the artist activities as much as I do like our actual artist training.
Gotcha.
It's quite a big structure, but they've gone on tour in the States. They have original music. They were Juno nominated in 2020. Right. They just work really, really hard. They have very positive messages, and they're a blast to train. Like they're really, really great.
So I have a quick question, given that we're often talking about acting and performing, and we talk a lot about training as well. When you see those performers come into your program and into your training program, what are some things that you see that lend them to success, or how would you describe the people that do really well versus the people that don't continue or don't absorb the training as much?
Yeah, I think it's so interesting how, I think a lot of people think this industry is really based on talent or luck, or just like natural ability. But in my experience from especially watching, just with myself, it's all about just putting in the time, right? Performance is a muscle, whether it's dance, singing, acting. It's all, the more you work it out, the better you'll be. So just having, encouraging performers to put the time in, and make sure they're having fun while they're doing it so that they enjoy it when they're older is key.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Great
Love
answer.
it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, that's 100%. And I used to think the same thing too for a long time. And we've talked about this on the podcast. I got into stand-up, and then sort of that led to sketch comedy, dinner theater, improv type stuff. And then that leads to commercials, leads to acting. But I had never gone through an encompassing acting training program until I'd often done workshops and sort of day seminars and piecemeal programs, but never one full program. And so it was weird. For a long time, I wore all the success I had without proper training as a badge of honor, and was kind of like cocky about it. Like, look at how good I'm doing, and I don't know what I'm doing kind of thing, where it's like, not that I didn't know what I'm doing. I obviously had a sense of it and had done a lot of training. But now, after going deeper in training, it's sort of that idea of you don't know what you don't know. And the more you train and the more you learn and the more you grow, the better you're going to be. And you're just going to unlock parts of you that you didn't even know existed. That's kind of what I'm going through right now, where I'm like, I feel now, I didn't even know, if I think back to like 7 years ago or 10 years ago as an actor, like I didn't even know what my job was to do. Like I thought I was like, just go out there. Hey, yeah. Because I came from a stand-up background where it was just like, okay, just be big, be loud, be a big goof, and that's it. But it's two very different things, stand-up and even the stand-up that I was doing. If I think back about it now, I would just cringe. I'm so glad. Sometimes I flip through old notebooks and I'm like Rip. Nope, never going to talk about that again. It's like, or I should cancel myself by things I might have said in 2009, you know, before someone ever finds video of it. Yes, but did I just incriminate myself? Did I just I got canceled by talking about something that I might have said in the past? But yeah, anyways. Who knows? It's a weird world right now. It's a weird world.
Cops bang on his door. Lars, open up.
What the hell? You just heard you on a podcast, buddy. You said something.
We were tuning in like every Monday night.
Stupid in your 20s.
You thought we weren't gonna hear about your podcast every 6 p.m. Monday night? You're wrong.
It's just the algorithm listening right now and then just hearing the right combination of words and sending it to the appropriate law enforcement division.
Every time you say the algorithm, I always think of like this internet octopus that has like tentacles going every direction. Like
that's my dream role, is to play the algorithm.
The algorithm
not just like any algorithm. It's a specific algorithm.
Yeah, the algorithm.
Yeah. Good. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah.
I'm going up for an algorithm, and I didn't want there to be any competition. So
an algorithm.
Okay. Yeah,
I like that.
I think they're different projects, so I think you're good. Yeah.
We can do a little cross collab eventually.
Yeah.
Algorithm.
I like the idea of a guy named Mr. Algorithm. Great to meet you, Mr. Algorithm. Good to see you, Al. Yeah.
Nice to see you again, Al. How's the rhythm?
Like it's actually a guy. Like, oh, I'm Algorithm.
And they're like,
guy?
You're it's you. This whole time, it's just been one guy.
Some
guy in Florida, like
some guy typing furiously the whole time. Holy shit!
Oh my gosh!
This thing gets way more complicated every week. Yeah, that's funny. I like
it's
that.
Always growing.
It's just one guy, Algorithm. It's like, man, this is difficult. All this time, you're like, I thought it was a computer program. Well, yeah. Who do you think makes the computer program? Algorithm. Somebody's got to make it. Didn't make itself. It's just him. Shit, this algorithm is getting away from us.
This is great. We should be pitching this to Netflix. Netflix is probably watching, so this is.
Yeah, they're listening. It's already in production.
It's in the algorithm.
Yeah.
This is the writers' meeting. We're now. This is a Laughing Vikings production meeting right now. You hear that, Netflix?
We're in the pitch room now.
Right. They say it's going to be the next Ted Lasso meets Black Mirror. Ted Lasso meets Black Mirror.
Oh, good.
There you go.
Nice.
I would watch that.
Done. That's all you got to say is just name two things that are awesome, and then be like, oh, okay.
Like, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hand them a script. It's a little complicated. Just say 2 shows. They're like, got
2
it.
shows.
Now I get it.
Now I get it.
Lasso, Black Mirror. Okay.
Oh.
It's called Algorithm, where the algorithm is a real guy named Algorithm. And he works at a small tech office in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
So Black Mirror, Ted Lasso, Silicon Valley.
The Office.
The Office, okay. Yeah.
Meets The Office. With a hint of Spielberg mixed in there and a little bit of Scorsese.
Good.
And a tiny bit of Sopranos and Game of Thrones.
We're trying to appeal to all of the audience.
Then there's a dash of Breaking Bad. And
this sounds good. Good. That's good. I like it. I like it. What else? Is there a musical and maybe a little bit of Masked Singer?
Yeah. And some TikTokers.
Yeah. And a healthy dose of TikTok and Instagram Reels.
And we're going to use the Friends theme song.
Naturally.
Yeah.
But Selena Gomez will be covering it.
Yes.
Right.
And
many of the featured actors in Seinfeld will be featured in specific roles.
Which is actually just them reprising their original roles.
Yes.
Exactly.
Good.
Yes. Yeah. Meets Seinfeld revival. Yeah. That's good.
I'd watch this.
I'd watch it. I'm pretty good. With a little bit of Marvel and DC Comics and Spider-Man.
Oh, wow.
A healthy dose.
The budget's getting bigger and bigger now. All right.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. And with the pop culture sort of sweeping the nation virality of Squid Games meets Tiger King.
Oh my God.
Did we just describe that's the perfect pitch? I feel like what we just described is if the algorithm were to pitch its own script to Netflix, that would be like, well, yeah, stamp, let's do it.
I mean, who's going to say no to algorithm?
Say no to that. Just say no and be the idiot who doesn't make that show. You don't want to be the guy that passed on the thing that was Ted Lasso meets Black Mirror, meets Silicon Valley, meets The Office, meets Spielberg, Scorsese, Marvel, DC. Do I need to go through the whole thing? No, I don't. You guys
get
it.
Theme song of Friends.
Yes. Theme song of Friends. That's great. I love that.
Sung by Selena Gomez.
Yeah.
Sung by Selena Gomez.
All right. Well, I guess we're leaving the pitch meeting
with $50 million with an oversized check that they print for us right then and there, saying, "Here, go make that."
Yeah,
and come back
when you can make that out to Laughing Vikings Incorporated.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
And come back when you need another 50 million to make the next thing.
Yeah, the sequel. So.
Yeah, but the sequel is going to be animated.
Of course.
/ a documentary. Right. Yeah, we've figured it all out, guys. Yeah, I'm excited.
This is pretty soundproof.
This is the best meeting we've ever had. This started as a podcast and an interview, and now it has just become the most brilliant production meeting of all times.
This is like a really good staff meeting, actually.
Yeah,
great.
Right. Yeah. And anyone watching right now, because we're doing it live and it's all timestamped legally, this is like, if you're thinking like, oh yeah, I'm going to steal that idea, good luck, because we have proof of concept right here.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck. Good luck.
I'd get working on it now.
Right. Yeah. What's the budget per episode? 10 million? 10 million an episode?
We got 50 mil. So we'll make 5 episodes, 10 mil each.
Let's just make one episode. One big episode.
So a movie?
Ooh, like Sherlock.
Yeah. So think about your favorite TV series. What if it was 4 times longer or 2 to 4 times longer? Oh, okay. Ooh. And not split up in episodes at all. Just one long thing. Are you describing a movie right now?
I may be.
Movie. Ooh, I like it. I like the sound of that. Yeah.
Movie.
No, it's not called a movie. It's called long TV.
Long form. This is great.
Right. But we digress. Let's get back to Amy here, because we do have, believe it or not, we do have more questions. But
So, Amy, you've been working at Laughing Vikings for a fair amount of time. What do you think is the most important thing when doing self-tapes?
Ooh. I mean, being off book helps. I'll say it really helps. It makes a huge difference. It's just like you can tell when the actor really knows the material. They're just so much more comfortable and confident to play around and try different things. I love when actors, when they have a plan and we get the takes they want, and then they're like, you know what should we try? Let's do something else. We do a wild card, and it's so much fun for them to get really into the scene and try different things that they didn't consider before. So the good, the bad, the ugly. The good, off book. The bad, actually, I'm going to say the bad is being not off book, because the good, I think, is when you're very relaxed with your body and really relaxed in the physical space you're in. Because sometimes, we could be a head in the box and feel very rigid. But if you really let them breathe, get them to do a couple run throughs, block it out if they want. I always try and encourage actors to walk in or walk out, have some sort of movement. Even if we cut it out later, it just gets them into the environment. So I'd say physicalization is the good, and the ugly,
metaphorically speaking.
Yeah, you don't have
of course.
I'll tell you who's ugly. That Lars guy. He's got that one eye.
I don't. That's tricky. I think the ugly is when there's missed opportunities in the text. Because you can keep digging, right? Acting is, I think, 60% detective work sometimes, especially with auditions. They don't give you a lot. So you're trying to find as much detail as you can in the scene to make it, your own. one thing I love doing with actors is finding something that they connect with emotionally. And I did a session recently with an amazing actor who, you know, she connected to the character from her own personal experience. So we stuck with that and made that more of a bigger thing in her audition. And she felt super great and confident with her takes. And that is the most important thing. You know, we can't control if the actor books or not, but we can make sure they feel super proud of their work and of themselves as an artist when they come and when they leave. So yes, that's thank you.
Nice.
So
I love
sad.
what you said about preparation, because I think we can all attest to that. I know I've several times been super guilty of not spending enough time beforehand, like the way, especially in a self-tape, because there's something that tricks you in a self-tape that you can use the session as also rehearsal, which you can. But I've gone into self-tapes where with the preparation that I would never go into a live audition, because when you go to a live audition, you got one take, maybe you get two, whereas in an hour in a self-tape audition where you have the luxury of looking at it over and over again and watching it back, you can kind of hone it and craft it as you go. But it's like anything in life, the more time you spend in it, the more you're going to find and the deeper it's going to go. And we've all had that experience, whether it's a live audition or a self-tape, where afterwards you think, oh crap, that would have been a great idea, or what if I had to work that into it, where you find all these other creative things, which had you spent more time on the text so that was in your body, maybe done a warm-up so that you were very relaxed and physically you were all connected, and then been at that level, like opening night performance / on the day take one readiness, then who knows where you get, like you were saying, then you get all of these wonderful places where you get to do wild card takes, and then you're really playing, versus the opposite is spending an hour just to get it word perfect enough to present it, where you're just like, instead of, it's the difference where you say, you heard the term like, some people practice till they get it right. Other people practice till they can't get it wrong. Not that there's a right and wrong in acting choices necessarily, but the idea that like you shouldn't have just like the first time you get all the words properly and feel good about it, that like if that's the one, maybe it's the one. But if you had to spend more time in advance, and you would have got somewhere much further. So I love that answer is what I'm saying to you, Amy. That answer was spot on.
And I love the fact that you said you try and ask them what makes them connect to the piece emotionally. And I think that a lot of times there's actors that get so focused on learning the lines that they forget about the emotional side of things. And like, I think it's especially important as we are session directors and we do run audition tapes, that we do make sure that we make a point of asking what is either the emotional relationship, how are you emotionally connected to the piece, and what are you fighting for emotionally to get in the piece? Because I think those are just so crucial, such crucial questions that we have to be asking. And sometimes we have so many other things that we're worrying about that when we don't do that, it's not as impactful as when we do ask those questions.
Yeah, text analysis I think is super key for all of it. And it's not everyone likes doing the work, right? Which I know I'm guilty of it as well, especially when it's, you know, an audition that you've gotten last minute and you're stressed and you just want a clean take that you feel, okay, my agent will like this. Okay, I feel good about this. But I think that's what makes the opportunity we have as session directors so special, is that we get to kind of like slow actors down and be like, okay, we're just looking at this one piece right now, one scene. Like, let's start there. Let's work on that. And we can talk about the job and everything else after while we're editing. But right now, like, let's just be as honest and authentic as we can in these takes and be proud of our work, because this is the job, right? The auditions are the job until the job is the job.
Yeah.
Yeah. We always talk about how, I mean, in the early days, until you're batting off projects or telling people that they're not meeting your quote, you're a professional auditioner to get those jobs for kind of first and foremost. Brandon, I love what you said too, is it's so often it's just a little extra thought into what is the relationship, like who am I actually talking to? What am I fighting for? AKA, what do I want in the scene? And then sometimes it's just dialing up the importance, like almost like care more about this. Like when you think about, when you watch scenes where you see someone really caring about something, big wins, big losses, lots of competition, they're really fighting. Yeah, there's a human behavior where you can just say it deadpan with no emotion and no nothing, and that could be truthful, but it's also not as compelling, maybe, where you're like, holy fuck, like like where you just say, like, what are you actually fighting for? Oh, this is the last shot to get this person to stay with you in this relationship, or this is the big deal where you make $10 million if you land this contract, or whatever it might be, where you're just actually fighting for it, where you're just like, how often do we have to just be like, just make it more important, and it's going to be way more compelling to watch because we watch a human actually care about something and fight for it.
Especially in a self-tape, right? When we don't have the environment, we don't have sound and costume and everything, we have to create that energy all on our own with a blank wall behind us. So oftentimes I find, like, our self-tapes will be like dialed up to 200, and then on set it will be like, like your regular, more human, natural performance.
Right.
Which I think, with newer actors, it's that adjustment can be tough sometimes, just to understand that transition, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, because I find a lot of the times there's people that come in and I say, what are you fighting for? And they'll give you the backstory. They'll give you what's going on in the scene. They'll give you what could happen later on.
Facts.
They're talking facts. And like, you want the emotional charge. Whatever is charging you emotionally, I want to see that on screen, because that is 1,000 times more compelling than you just speaking facts.
Right.
Yeah. I've started recently kind of viewing auditions more as, this is going to sound really weird, but like improv opportunities, because energy wise, right? Because I mean, I've noticed, okay, I'm more comfortable improvising and in comedy than I am with like a dramatic script, right? That's where I'm at right now. So how can I take that comfort and that ease and what's natural to me into these other situations in my work? And I found just like looking at it very fresh and just like, doing the work, but then taking it out of your head and being like, okay, what's the scenario? Like, what am I feeling? Like, what's the energy? What am I fighting for in the scene? Like you were saying, right? Like, what is this energy I have against this other person? And how can we make sure that's very clear to the person who's watching?
I think what you said there, Amy, is that's one of the most challenging parts. Is it's the paradox of sort of, I mean, there's improv that you can use in certain moments, which always makes things seems fresh and seems real and in the moment, and like it's the first time, juxtaposed with rehearsing something for 200 times, a million different ways. But then, you can't look like you're rehearsing this. You can't look like this epic speech that's supposed to just come out of the moment in the scene, in the script, and then all of a sudden you're sort of like, in real life we are improvising always, so it has to, at least, whether you actually use improv in the moment in the take, it has to at least appear like it's been improvised, which is also one of the, like, that's one of the most amazing things when you see an actor just crush something. And it was like, that was like especially if it makes you afraid or it makes you cry or it actually emotionally affects you, because then that means no part of you ever was thinking, oh, this guy's a really good actor right now. You're just watching the character in these given circumstances doing whatever they're doing, and it's affecting you. And you're not even thinking, you're just buying the whole thing. Like, holy shit, this guy's running from zombies right now, and he's trying to save his kids from zombies, and oh, what's going to happen to him? But like our smart, the other side of our brain knows that it's an actor doing all that, but when it's done really well, you're just like wrapped up into it.
Oh yeah, and I'll tell the actors I'm working with if I'm affected by their work. I'll be like, what, that take, like, I'll ask them, of course, like, how did you feel it went? And then I'll let them know. I was like, what, that really affected me. Like, I was moved during that take. So as an audience member, like, this is a strong take because I was just reading for you and you got me emotional. So like, I think sometimes pointing that out to actors, because it's so hard to assess our own work. Like, I find it, I don't know about you both, but I hate watching myself back and trying to decipher if this is the strongest take or not. So having someone say like, yeah, I liked that performance. I felt what you were going for there. I find so helpful.
I definitely used to agree with you on that. I definitely used to, because I still hate watching right. I still hate watching myself, but like it's so constructive to be watching yourself because you are your toughest critic, and so you will find the little details, and you'll say, no, that doesn't work. Even now, after watching this self-tape 3 weeks later, like, oh, if I had done this, that would have been better. And like you need to, I think you need to be constantly viewing yourself, even later after you've done the self-tape, continuously watch yourself so that you can find those minute details that you didn't notice when you were originally doing it, so that you will notice it when you are doing it the next time.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. I think it's a tough exercise sometimes depending on the projects that you don't book, but sometimes taking those auditions that you didn't book and refilming them, and trying to, I don't like the phrasing, check all the boxes, but in the sense, you know what I mean? Like being like, okay, now if I had the chance to do this again, how would I do it differently? And comparing those takes and saying, okay, 6 months from now, maybe would I book it? Am I improving? Like, do I feel better about it at least? So that kind of personal feedback, you're right. It's so important. It's not fun, but yeah.
No, it is not.
Yeah, there's a certain level of just camera awareness and awareness of the frame to start learning all that thing. It helps you with recognizing eye lines and all of that kind of stuff too. So yeah, it's great. One of my favorite things you talked, Amy, about when you're helping someone in an audition and you're affected by them. My favorite thing is to be like, ooh, I just got goosebumps. Ooh, you just gave me goosebumps. That's my favorite. Like, because I feel like goosebumps don't lie. They're just like, oh shit. Like,
yeah, I mean, an actor on Zoom last week made me tear up. I was like, oh my goodness, like, stay professional, be professional.
No, that is professional.
So it was
good.
just like, it's so exciting when you get moved by other people's work, and you see, like, you're watching the process happen in front of you, right? It's so exciting.
And that also shows that you're also a great actor, because a lot of that is listening and reacting and being open to be affected by someone. No, a lot of people would you wouldn't even get there because there'd be like a barrier where you wouldn't be invested. You wouldn't be looking at them and listening to them, and your body wouldn't be open to those kind of experiences where you just be like, I'm just going to clam it up. I'm just going to shove my feelings in a jar, and I'll put the jar on a shelf.
I know. That's why I think acting is so healthy. Like, it's so weird. Like, I think it's so, maybe the industry, some people say, is not, but I think the actual craft is so beneficial to, like, our communication skills, our well-being mentally, our awareness, our empathy. I just think it heightens all of that and makes you more appreciative of just like your fellow human beings, and it makes you more like, okay, like, that person's having a bad day, like, they could be going through something, like, you're just more, I don't know, more
empathetic.
Yeah, that's the word. Thank you.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we've heard the term, to be an actor is to be a professional human being in many levels, whether that means you're playing characters who all have different professions where you have to learn different skills, or just a professional human being in that you're attuned to your body, your mind, your heart, your soul, your head, heart, hips, as Tom says. You're fully functional, fully expressed human being. Love it. Love this.
Love it.
And I'll just say, half the block usually hears me say it's a great take. So.
Oh yeah. As you were speaking about acting helping you as a human, I'm thinking to myself, like, I rarely yell and scream in my regular life, but there have been plenty of times where I've been screaming and yelling and saying obscenities and stuff, and it's quite cathartic and therapeutic. Like, I prefer to play fun-loving characters, but I've played a handful of villains or in true crime reenactments where I'm committing atrocious acts and screaming terrible things that I would never scream at another human being before.
Yeah.
But it's all at the end of it, you're like, oh fuck, that felt amazing, which is in a weird way. But yeah.
I mean, that's one of the best parts, right? We get the opportunity to try on different lives, like clothes, right? It's so fascinating. I mean, I'm always just like, oh, maybe I should be this or maybe I should be that. And I'm like, well, that's why being an actor is great, because I can just get the opportunity to just try anything. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. We talk about how, like, in life, you want to be like very zen and calm and pretty, have some ups and downs, but not too high, not too lows, not too much conflict. But in acting and on screen and on stage, it's all the opposite of that. It's like fucking fights and screaming and yelling and highest emotions, like full expressed love and then full expressed despair when that love blows up. Like, yeah. Or you see people in real life and you're like, man, what a scene that is. Like, you'll be walking down the street seeing a couple scream and yell at each other, and you're just like, perfect. You guys are nailing this right now.
Their vocal awareness.
Vocal, fully physically expressed. Vocally, they're there. In the intensity, they care. They're fighting for what they want. Like, all of
I find it affects how I watch like content now. Like, I'll watch like a TV show or a movie, and it could be like the most I don't know, like horrible scene or something, maybe weird or not. Maybe it's not even that exciting is happening, and I'm just like looking at this like an actor. I'm just like, beautiful, just beautiful.
Right.
Just beautiful. And so people are like, why are you calling them beautiful? I'm like, because they're so there. They're being like, they're so honest right now. It's so great.
I like seeing background passes and background action where I'm like, that guy mopping in the background.
I love it.
Or you just see like or a well-timed pass, and it's just like, kudos to that person. Where I know, like, depending on if that was early in their career, they would be telling their family and friends, like if it's in a big movie, in a big scene, big lead, and then they're like, see right behind Al Pacino's head, boom, nailed it. Open the door, walked out of frame.
Oh, I get so excited for the people who come on with one line. I get so pumped. Like I'm serious. I'm like, yes. And then they leave and I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like,
you're like, great
so
job.
good. Yeah. I'm like, because I'm like, that scene's probably going to help them go on to even more work. Like, how many people did they have to go up against to get that? Like, there's, you feel so proud of your fellow actors sometimes.
Right. And you'd be like, dude, oh my God, I saw you way back in the day when you bought a hot dog at the hot dog stand right before Alec Baldwin bought a hot dog from the hot dog. You nailed that You nailed it. You were just like, mustard and relish, please. And then you were out of there. Nailed it. Nailed it. Right? I feel like that's the thing that happens. Yeah. All right, let's continue. I have a question. I don't know if this is the order, but the one that I want to ask right now is, Amy, what is there a dream project that you personally aspire to create?
To create?
Yeah, or be a part of.
Oh.
If you could snap a finger, like Genie, Laughing Vikings Genie, we got 50 million in the bank account, and we're like,
oh, right, because our
because
that
show
was a success. Yeah.
Oh, of course. Yeah, we already talked about that. Oh, okay. We already answered this question earlier.
So we're backing your project, Amy. Yeah. What are you making?
Thank you.
Ted Lasso meets Orphan Black meets Silicon Valley meets The Office.
God.
A little bit of Selena and Friends. Okay.
Yes, well, definitely Selena. I think it's just it'd be something. I mean, it's going to be one of the two. It's going to be a Marvel movie because I just love that. I think the genre is so epic. It's just fun. I love a good fun movie, but also something like The Office or Parks and Rec, where it's just like very normal people and it's so relatable and it's just so funny. And it's like, I love, like, to me, the funniest things in life is the everyday stuff like that. I think that's why, like, there's so many comedians online these days in a good way. I mean that in a great way. Like, there's so much funny content on TikTok and everything. It's because we're all realizing that, like, you know what, like the regular small things we do that we all do and all can relate to are hilarious. So a project would probably be like that. Although my sister and I came up with a really funny idea of called something along the lines of Toronto tour guides. I don't know if you're familiar with like the Toronto tour bus that goes by,
like a double-decker bus.
Yeah. We were thinking, like, how funny would it be if you had a show about the different tour guides in the city, because there's the haunted ghost walk people,
right?
And then there's the city people, like there's the museum people. I'm sure everyone would have their own characteristics. It's very like, yeah, so it'd probably be something just silly.
I like that. And then you get all the wild card characters every episode that are just one-offs, where they're tourists from Germany or they're visiting from who knows where, some other country.
Just another country.
Why are all the tourists German in this show?
So yeah, it'd either be that, or oh god, a third one would be like Westworld, because to me that show is genius.
Nice.
So,
I haven't seen Westworld yet.
Well,
watch it. I hear it's going to blow my mind.
I'll end the show right now. You have to watch it. So good.
We'll just screen share. We'll call up Westworld.
Yeah, let's just have a movie night.
Where do I watch it? On Netflix, or is it on HBO? Or
HBO.
HBO. Okay. And I heard Succession as well. I've been pitched Westworld and Succession both very hard, that there'll be like mind-blowing game changers.
I know. I want to see Succession. I've heard good things.
Nice.
You got so excited.
I heard good
I know.
things.
I love watching new shows.
I wanted, one thing I did want to ask Amy, you running sessions, a lot of the ones that you've run, of course, throughout COVID, but even as restrictions have relaxed and people have been able to be in person, you have run, I think, more Zoom sessions than in-person sessions recently. So can you speak to those specifically? Any best practices, do's and don'ts, maybe things that you see people struggle with and or nailing?
Yeah, I think actors should not be afraid to ask for feedback and help on their framing. Like, I always offer it, of course, but sometimes you can tell like that's stressing them out, right? That's like a whole worry for them, right? So just alleviating that pressure off of them and being like, yeah, okay, the framing's good, and like making that an extra effort on the session director's part to make sure it's like looks really good. Just because that's, you know, they're not in the studio and they are doing it all themselves. And you don't want them to be thinking about that. You want them to be focused on the work. And then, yeah, I think that would be the big thing. I mean, the Zoom sessions I've had, I mean, actors come so prepared. They're so excited because, I mean, especially, you know, the past few months, like, yes, restrictions have been so much better, which is great. But a lot of the actors I've been working with are like just busy. Like, they don't have time to come into studio, which is great. We love busy actors.
Right.
So they're just, you know, they're like on the fly and they're trying to set up. So it's like, okay, we can do this. Like, you have like, you know, it doesn't take long to edit them. We can take the time that you need. We've got this, and just kind of hyping them up and giving the same energy over Zoom that I would in studio, so that they feel appreciated still and listened to as they, some actors, I love it. They like talk it through, right? They're like, I think I'm doing this. I'm doing this. And I'm like, yeah,
right.
Okay, great. Just being their cheerleader, right?
Yeah. So you mentioned frames. So you like, we'll give advice to people's lighting. Like, oh yeah, you're a little shadowy on that one side. You have another light, and they might readjust the lights a little bit.
Or enough headspace, things like that.
Yeah, give them some feedback on their background. I might be like, yeah, maybe take that clock off the wall, or if there's something distracting. We often use virtual backgrounds as well. So then they can only really be used if they're used well. So you can't be like flickering in and out of it, and it still can't be too distracting. It has to be something that makes sense and is very clear and adds to it rather than distracts you.
I remembered something. I remembered something. This is so exciting.
Hey! Amy remembered something, everybody.
Oh my gosh. I also ask, when we're doing a run through, I ask to whoever's recording, whether it's me or the actor, I ask for us to record it to check the audio. So we can, like, you know, I mean, sometimes if they're the ones recording, then they can listen to it back right away. But I just like to always make sure, like, can you hear me? Can I hear you? Right. Are we good? So we're not doing, you know, these brilliant takes and we can't hear each other, or it doesn't work.
Right.
That would be sad. Hasn't happened.
What's your favorite thing about running audition sessions and working with actors?
I mean, this is like this is more of a selfish thing as an actor, but I love doing the text analysis with the other actor and like helping them discover these little nuggets that we haven't yet discovered in the scenes that we can, you know, bump up to 100. And also, I mean, just like seeing the different projects that people in Toronto are going out for. It's so exciting when our city gets great work, and we have so many great actors. So it's like, I mean, my friends and I, who are other actors, we all have a saying. It's like, you know, a win for an actor in Toronto is a win for all of us, because it means more work, more projects are coming here, which they rightfully so should.
Yes. Or as we said in Carolyn Sterling's episode, high tide raises all boats. Is that what we say?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. High tide raises all boats. Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. That's great. Love it. And thank you. We're very grateful to have you as part of the team here. And I know all the actors who work with you are always thrilled that they got a great job. And I think the biggest thing is that you also care as well. Like, you feel personally vested. And I know that was big with me, is I'm fighting to help these people get sometimes life-changing and career-changing roles that have money that I know their wife and I know their kids. So it's like, I'm thinking like, this is like diapers and Montessori school for these kind of things. So
yeah, it's so exciting.
It is a real life thing. Like, there's the fantasy and the fun of it, but then there's also the real life, like rooting for you. I know Brandon and I here at the studio, one of our favorite things is when people do tell us about a booking and we're like, fuck yeah, oh, and they're here and we're like high-fiving or emojiing over DMs and stuff, or one of us will get an email and he'll tell me and I'll send it to them, or we'll screen cap it or whatever. It's great. Yeah,
I love that. I also love the feedback of my agent loved the tape, because that for like, if you're an actor and your agent says that to you, you're just like, okay, good. You don't have to, like, you know, that you're like, okay, the agent loved the tape. That's great. I feel good about my performance, right? So yeah, that's huge.
Hundo P. All right. Brandon, we should start bringing the ship into harbor, yes. Should we?
So Amy, just to start closing out, what advice would you give to your past artist self?
Oh.
So young Amy in Australia, starting out, doing her movie. What do you say?
I would say something that my conservatory director, Christian Smith, taught me a lot, and that was putting your own point of view into your work. What I mean, of course, was scripted, like, it's not always your opinion, but putting yourself into your work. Then, if it's not something you're writing or creating, I think is key, because even if, I mean, we don't have control over what we book, but we definitely have control over how we feel about our work and the quality of our work. And you know, you want to feel confident that what you're presenting to casting and to the audience and to yourself is reflective of your genuine self and actually showcases everything that you have to offer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Love that.
Beauty. Love it. One of our coaches, Tom Todoroff, as far as personalizing it, one of his phrases is, you got to pee on it a little bit, where you pee on the script, or he'll often hold a script. He'll be like, the script isn't out here. It's not you, and the script is out here. Like, we're often sort of playing the idea of a character, but not being you yourself as a human being under those given circumstances. And then he'll take the script and slide it in, like, into his shirt or into his coat. It's like, it's got to be in here. You know, we got to see you as a human being. I know Brandon likes that. Pee on it. Brandon pees on all his scripts.
I pee on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Brandon's in sessions telling actors, "Did you pee on it?
Did you pee on it?
Pee on it?"
Yeah, they do some weird things over there at Laughing Vikings. Yeah, it smells fun. Why does it smell funny in that back studio?
Don't come in here. Don't come in here.
Don't come in here. Don't come in here.
I'm busy.
Jeez. Yeah. All right.
So, are we ready for the quote of the week?
Quote of the week.
All right. So this week's quote, we love to end shows with this so that we are starting our week off with something uplifting and enlightening. So today's quote comes from Lucille Ball. And she says, "Love yourself first and everything else falls into line. You really have to love yourself to get anything done in this world." And that's just, I love that from Lucille Ball.
Yeah.
I love Lucy.
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 She should make a show called I Love Lucy.
Yeah, she should get on that.
Yeah.
Speaking of Lucille Ball, aren't they releasing? I know Brandon, you did the show, your show, where you were opposite Lucille Ball. But isn't there a miniseries coming out called like the Desies or like the?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either that or it's a movie.
Is it a movie or a miniseries? Yeah.
Or one of the two.
I'm not sure. One of the two. Stay tuned. Shout out to Lucille Ball. She's still doing good stuff out there.
Yeah, I believe it's called Lucy and Desi.
Lucy and Desi. That's it. Yeah. That'll be interesting.
I'm very excited. Their relationship was very rocky, to say the least. But it was a fascinating relationship. And she is just a fascinating figure in and of herself, because what she did for TV and film is almost unmatched.
And just like another fascinating person who's doing some incredible things in TV and film, our guest here, Emanuele. See that segue? That I nailed that.
I love that. That was a pretty good segue.
I'll pat myself on the back for that one. Right. Thank you so much for being here today. We love you. We love you being a part of the team here. And thank you for all your work with actors here in the city and people abroad, since you connect with people on Zoom. A lot of the times they're not from this city. And for all the listeners out there, make sure you're subscribing. Hit us up on Instagram at Laughing Vikings. And once again, we still got the holiday special for those of you who are watching and or listening. It's going to run only till Christmas Eve. Maybe we'll extend it, but I don't think so. I shouldn't have even said that. I shouldn't have even said that maybe. We're not going to extend it. It's going to be December 24th at 11:59, where you can grab 5 audition sessions for the price of 4. We're throwing in a Christmas holiday bonus for you. You can go to laughingvikings.com/links. And if you're not a member, you can grab the membership there at laughingvikings.com/join, or you'll just see it all at laughingvikings.com links. It's all about the links. Hit up the algorithm is what I'm saying. Get in deep. You want to get in deep to the algorithm.
Find algorithm and they will help you.
Get in with the algorithm. The deeper, the more links and the more connection. You just want to be entangled with the Laughing Vikings algorithm, and good stuff is going to come your way. There. I think it's the best pitch I've ever said right there. That was so eloquent. Yeah.
I'm ending it right now. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
And we're going to go work on that show, right? That show?
Yeah. We're getting 50 million, baby.
Yes. Ciao.